wheels and then do a dry stack wall around it, and it wouldn't look like a trailer, which is kind of what I was hoping to do. You can see there's this kind of trellised area that breaks up the wall. I did that because I didn't want to have just a straight wall going all the way up. I feel like if you break that up a little bit, at least aesthetically, it adds a little bit more appeal. Also, it adds for little ledges for both loft spaces, so you could put planters up there, very narrow planters. You have a, this is a 50-foot, 30-amp marine cord going into a marine inlet, so that's all water resistant and waterproof. And this goes to a 30-amp breaker, 5-circuit breaker that I can show you when we go inside. And also you have a exterior outlet if you need to do any work or anything like that. You need a power tool. The stairs I made small enough so that they can travel with the house, and then you just go. All of the red stain that you see is one of the nice things about being on the West Coast is you have access to readily available redwood. So this is all from Mendocino, and I stained it 2 coats of stain, so it should be fine for a few years. You might have to reapply a coat maybe in 3 years, something like that, just to keep it protected. And Monica, I'll let you walk in ahead of me. There's a little lamp. I don't know if you saw that. Cool little vintage lamp, and it's on a timer, so it's set to adjust with the time zone that you're in and daylight savings, and so it'll come on every night at whatever you want it to. Just set it. So this is the interior of the house. Are you coming in? So there are little touches of kind of refurbished antique items. This door is one of them. This is hand-poured craftsman glass. So it's also very nice in terms of kind of, it adds that weighty look. The only thing is that this house is very well insulated. The only kind of weak part of the insulation will be this single pane glass. All the rest of the windows are double pane. Cellulose, blown in cellulose insulation for the walls, and then rigid foam for the floor, rigid foam for the ceiling. I think the walls have an R value of about 10, or maybe it's 12, and the ceiling and the floor have an R value of 14. And all of this door and also the door to the bathroom and the study, they're antique with antique hardware, so it's skeleton keys, these old-timey keys that take a little bit of love, but it also has a latch if you don't want to use the skeleton key and you just want to latch it. So as I mentioned outside, what I think is also unique about this house is all the storage space. Good job, bud. So you have 8 drawers I built it for one person, but you could really have 2 people living here with all the space. And then you also have closet space for your hat, and then pants, suit, whatever. Also storage down here. This is the 5-circuit breaker, 30 amp. Right now it's wired for 120 volt. You can set it up if you took it to an RV park. Just switch out the bus bar and then split the wiring to accept 240. So within 5 or 10 minutes you can make the adjustment. You just need to know what you're doing. So, and I could explain that to whoever bought this if they wanted to take it to RV park or trailer park. And then another storage space. Harp, why don't you maybe go outside? So, place for shoes, coat, more socks or something, hats. More drawers. It's kind of a unique size drawer. I don't know, maybe baking sheets or whatever. But right now, everything that's in there is like warranties and explanation of appliances and extra light bulbs. This is all custom built. I made this to fit the space. It's mostly solid red oak, and then red oak ply, and finished with coats of polyurethane. Everything was also nailed in by hand, set with nail sets, and then putty over, and then stained and coat of polyurethane. So the storage spaces also act as the stairs. So you can climb up to the loft space, and I'll let you come up here, Monica, to see. There's kind of the guest loft, which would fit a single bed or twin, and then the master loft would fit a full-size bed or a queen-size tatami mat, which is what I built it for. Right now there's a queen-size futon up there, which you'll see. Do you want to come up here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's not a huge amount of headspace up in the loft. So
I was just showing.
It's a 20-foot long trailer. It's 8.5 feet wide, 13.5 feet tall. It's just at both 8.5 and 13.5, which are California's vehicle restriction height and width dimensions. So that means that there is only so much headroom you can have, and you need to parse it among both the first floor and the loft space. So the loft space, if I could show you kind of, I'm 6'2", so I built this to be to accommodate my height. I'm good right now, and then I have to kind of kneel down. So this is the master loft, and there's a little cavity here that you could put a dresser or whatever you want beside your bedstand. The light fixtures, they're on 3-pole wiring, which means you can turn them on and off at the lights by a switch, and you can also turn them on and off down at the bottom of the stairs. So that's nice if you don't want to climb back up here to turn them on and off. And also, all of the lights are dimmable, which is also, can set the mood or whatever. Anyone that's come in is always asking, what is this? Why did you put this here? So with the outdoor motor vent that I showed you, one of the registers comes here, right above the stove. I didn't really want it hanging out in space and just ending, so I just added this, and with the idea of hanging plants or maybe growing herbs. And then also, you can put hangers on this side and hang your pots and pans if you have maybe nice copper pans or cast iron pots or something like that. The stove is quite large. We baked these cookies in the stove. 4-burner stove run off of, it's been converted, I converted it to LP propane gas, which is what the water heater runs off of and what everything's hooked up to. Works fine. Oh, that's the oven. So, and actually, surprisingly, if you want to heat up the tiny house, you could just run the 4 burners for a few minutes, or the oven, and keep the door open for a few minutes, and it gets pretty hot in here pretty quick. There's also a space here that I'll show you that when you leave it running, and maybe leave one of the windows cracked a little bit in the upper space, it kind of keeps it like a perfect temperature in here. Copper sink. There's kind of a copper theme throughout the house, and you'll see it in the bathroom as well. I chose copper because it's living. It'll patina. It kind of, in time, it'll mature and kind of show usage. So I think that's kind of cool. Then you also have a fridge. I think it's 4.5 cubic feet. It's pretty sufficient for one person, I would think, when you have a freezer space. Down here you have a space for a trash can, and then in that cavity back here, you have a 44-gallon water tank that's hooked up to a pump. So if you filled that up and wanted to move this somewhere where you weren't hooked up to city water, you would have 44 gallons to work with. The shower head, I think it's supposed to be low flow, which is the only thing you can get in California, or the only thing that you're supposed to have in California. I think it's 2.5 gallons a minute. So you could take a week's worth of showers and have a week's worth of water if you take like 2-minute showers with a 44-gallon tank. So it's more just kind of emergency water, or also good if you're in California and there are earthquakes and you can't get city water anymore. It's good to have that kind of filled up. While you're up there, I'll show you the breakfast table. So more antique hardware. Just latches down, folds down, and it's solid. You can eat some cookies. So it's kind of perfect for 2 people. Here and here. Hey, Monica, looking good. So yeah.
This is the best seat in the house.
Because of the cookies.
Yeah, because of the cookies.
And it's super easy to put back up. You just grab the leg, latch. There it is. So again, plenty of storage. Liquor cabinet, or whatever you want this to be, or lemon bin. There's also plenty of outlets throughout the house. Anywhere where there's potential water, you need to have a ground fault circuit break outlet, which all of these are. And they're also, all the outlets that are not around water are also tamper-proof, so if you have kids. One of the cool things about building your own house is you can get innovative as to like storage, and so there's always kind of weird and like kitchen counters. How do you utilize this space in the back corners? And so instead of having a super long drawer, I made it a little short, and then you have a bin back here that you can grab from. So you can hide your, I don't know, pesticides or cleaners or poisonous kitchen supplies back there, out of reach of kids and things like that if you did happen to have a kid here. On to the study, I guess. So, or whatever this could be. It's just a kind of bare room right now. It has the little space heater that heats up nicely. All of the woods throughout are hardwood. This is reclaimed solid red oak. It had a stain on it that I took off and then coated with polyurethane.